Also, the book of Revelations talks about 7 spiritual figures. It mentions a woman clothed with white robes, with the sun at her back, with the moon under her feet. And on her head is a crown with 12 stars. And she's pregnant with a child. These are figures I'm speaking about. This 7 spiritual figures that's mentioned in Revelations. They talked about a woman clothed in a white robe with the sun at her back and the moon under her feet, and on her head is a crown with 7 stars. That's describing an angel. That's an angel. And the 12 stars that's on her crown, they represent the 12 children of Israel. So just to let you know, that's that particular figure. You got the great dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns. A great dragon with 7 heads. The 7 heads represent the 7 continents. The 10 horns and 7 crowns on his head. They all kind of represent leaders that's from one of these 7 continents. And that's kind of like what that's being described as. So when you hear that, the great dragon with 7 heads and 7 heads, the 7 continents, 10 crowns, that's people in charge. And it kind of describes how long they're going to be in charge and what happens with them and what their mission is and what role that they play in the world. So like again, the book of Revelations is revealing things to you. So think about that as you read through the book of Revelation. It's a revealing of this world from the eyes of above and through the prophecy of John, who wrote the book. He was enlightened. This is what he had to do he was put here for prophecy, for this revelation to be put out in conjunction with Jesus's testimony. And that's what we have here. It talks about a beast. But when you think about the dragon, before I get to the beast, let me add a little bit more to the dragon. Look at the dragon more like the devil, like Satan. The dragon that has 7 continents, that has 7 heads. So the dragon, the great dragon, say Satan, the devil, 7 heads. 7 heads, which represent 7 continents. And then it has 10 horns and 7 crowns on its head. So the 10 horns represent 10 leaders, like I said. When you think about this, it's almost like kind of describing how this world is. And you got to think how this world is, how Satan's world is. He want to put people in charge in order to fight for what he wants. And then that's where God comes in at with his own people. When he sends his angels or he anoints certain individuals, that's what their mission is, to go and teach the people here how they should be in order to combat this world. Because this world, if you follow along the lines of this world, you will be misled. That's why a lot of times you hear people, they throw money at somebody and people do things that they would never do in their life if it wasn't for the money. So that's the dilemma. Remember, we talked about the war isn't against person. The war is against the spiritualities or the unclean spirits or principalities and things of that nature. So the more knowledge that you get, God-fearing, God-loving, Jesus-loving, the more that you learn from that perspective, the better you're going to be able to deal with the things that this world throws at you. And you know how you know it's like set up like that? Look throughout the Bible a lot of times. God moved Abraham from his family and from his friends. And he moved a lot of different people from comfortable places because he didn't want them influenced by them. He wanted to show them the proper way. Then once you've shown the proper way, when you engage with these individuals or these other people, they're not going to have any kind of influence on you. They're not going to they're not going to be able to come up to you and say, hey, you know what? I got $50,000 that me and you both can make. All we have to do is go into this store and take this jewelry. You're going to have a foundation of Jesus Christ tenets, God's words in you that you know that's not nothing that I'm going to do. Nah, I'm good. But the ones a lot of times who doesn't have that particular knowledge, that's why everybody plays a role in this. The things that I get, the things that I share with you, the things that you get when you share, that's how we able to defeat the negativity of all of this stuff that's going on in this world. But just like like I said, this is the book of Revelation, and just like how Jesus was telling us things that we should do and how we should be and things to look for, he's also telling you about the enemy, things to look for. Hey, there's a dragon that has 7 heads. The dragon is the person that's over this world. The 7 heads represent the 7 continents. The 10 crowns represent the 10 leaders. And these people have a lot of power and have a lot of say-so in how the world operates. And so it's basically like giving us a lesson on, I'm gonna give you an example. They call it scouting report when you play sports. So say, for example, you play in another team in basketball and they say, hey, you're guarding, the 2 guards on this team are really talented, but they only can dribble with their right hand. So try to make them go hand. So it's like a scouting report. And that's the same thing that when it's talking about the dragon, when it's talking about certain individuals, and it's, the leaders of the world, it's basically giving you a scouting or report of what you're going to be having to deal with. So in other words, if I know that these leaders are bad, then I have to prepare myself to deal with these leaders. How am I going to deal with these leaders? And I'm not saying all leaders are bad. I'm just giving you the understanding and one to put in your head that when you deal with people of this world, you got to know who you're dealing with, and you got to know how to deal with the people that you deal with, whether it's family, friends, or people who are enemies of yours, or people who just are jealous or envious, or people who follow and walk the ways of this world without any kind of spiritual guidance from God or Jesus and things, or angels and things of that nature. That's why it all comes together. As I hear the word, as I get the word, and I try to chew it up and try to engulf it and master it, and then I pass along what I pass along, and then you get it, and then you pass it along. And that's what it takes for us to be able to combat the evil forces of this world. So sometimes in Revelations, you'll hear Jesus talk about certain things. That's exactly what he's talking about. It's times, know your enemy, then learn how to deal with your enemy or others or the world or the situations. And it allows for, and the more people who get this, it allows for all of us to live better lives until it's that time that hopefully we all have an opportunity to get eternal life and be with God and Jesus forever. It talks about the beasts of the earth, the beasts of the sea, and it talks about how they merge and how you got false prophets and the beast is metaphors for people who might be in charge, who try to guide the wrong way. You're going to have some that's soft-spoken, hey, do this, or try to convince you to do something, and they seem like the most honest people in the world. And then all of a sudden you do it, they got you. Because you didn't stick to your moral teachings and some of the other teachings. You just fell for whatever they were saying. Now you're persecuted because of it. So they're telling you to be aware. Don't always, somebody can have a pretty face. Somebody can be, it can be a kid. It can be the nicest person in the world. That's where it talks about a beast who who has characteristics of a lamb, who shows good characteristics, but in their inside they're really a wolf. So it's kind of one of them things where you got to look for the beast of the earth, the beast of the seas, or you look for someone who wants to be a leader, but they're trying to lead you to the wrong way. You know what they say about people in the music industry. What's some of the issues when you're in the music industry? They said it's a group that's out there that tries to lead you to negativity, needs you into selling your soul. I don't have to mention it. You guys heard it before. You know what it is. So that's the kind of things where we talk about. Oh, okay, I know that you are one of those people that if I follow you, it can be profitable for me money-wise, material-wise, I should say. But I got to give up my soul to get that. No, I'm okay. I'm good. I'd rather be satisfied with whatever God gives me, whatever Jesus gives me, and whatever blessings that God passes down to me. I'm good with that. And if I ever get whatever it is, it's going to be through Him. It's going to be through how He taught me to handle, say, success or whatever. You got to think about it. We all brothers and sisters. So a person like me, I'm a sharer. I like to see everybody do well. I like to help those in need. That's just me. That's natural. That's easy for me. So the point being is being able to identify what's going on in the world and attaining the proper knowledge to deal with it and to love your brothers and sisters and always try to help your brothers and sisters. You can have somebody say that's a alcoholic or a drug addict, and all of a sudden you leave a store, they might ask for a couple dollars. You don't be the judge and say, no, they're about to go get something to drink, or they're about to go do some drugs or something, because you just don't know. That one day, say for example, the couple dollars that you gave them, they went and got something to drink or got that drug. It allowed for them to live for that next day. And then say, for example, that next day, you got them through that day. Yeah, he went and got a beer. He went and got a beer or some alcohol, liquor or whatever. Or this person went and got drugs that day. But you might have saved their life that day to that next day, and then they have a moment of clarity. Then all of a sudden, they try to seek to get help and get rehabilitated. So don't be judgmental for those that's doing things that you might not agree with or might not understand. So you help those in need, and you don't be the judge. You just say, hey, you know what? Yeah, this person might go get something to drink, like I said, but maybe this will be the last day that they get something to drink, and then tomorrow they can go and maybe have a moment of clarity or whatever the situation, and then they can go from there. And that's what it's all about. And sometimes it takes something like that. I've seen it happen before. Where you help somebody in need and that day, and then you talk to them. And don't be ashamed to talk to somebody that might not be looking as well as maybe the person that you're running around with or whatever. You conversate with them, because a little good advice or just having that comforting or showing that you care, it might allow somebody to change their life. I've experienced that. Just a brief conversation, not trying to be judgmental, just telling somebody, hey, I care about you and hope things work out with you, well for you. Keep your head up. God bless. I'm praying for you. And the next thing you know, you see them 6 or 7 months later, they come up to you and say, thank you. You know, the talk we had, I went and got help right after that. And now I'm going 6 months clean, 7 months clean. So we all can do those kind of things. So love your brothers and sisters unconditionally. Unconditionally.